First CMA live off ice lesson. I just launched my CMA membership on Monday, so that means you guys can work with me virtually and you can be part of Coach Michelle Academy. This is something that I've been working on for a really long time, and also carving out the mental and physical capacity to do this has been a long time coming as well. As you guys saw in my whole entire kind of content era of last year, my focus was my wedding and developing a happy, healthy, holistic lifestyle around that, because I've been working so much. I started coaching ever since I was 16 years old, and skating and coaching nonstop is really genuinely exhausting. And I've learned so much about how to manage my lifestyle in the best way possible to be able to show up the most confident and the most, full self as I can for not just my in-person students, but for my online community. It is crazy that I have over 1 million people that follow me across all social media channels. And I shared this with you guys before. I do want to nurture my YouTube community a lot more, especially with the uncertainty of TikTok right now. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Hi, Suni. Nice to see you. Let me know in the comment section below if you found me through YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram first. I'm really interested to know. It's always fun to kind of hear the origin story of my followers and to hear where they first discovered me and my videos. Some people might also know me beyond just skating, because this past year I shared more about my skincare and my eczema healing journey. So a big reason as to why I'm all about developing a happy, healthy, holistic lifestyle and approach for my coaching is because this sport is so tough. It is so hard on you mentally and physically. And if you are not taking care of yourself at home, then you can easily fall into the trap of wanting to just quit, or just living with misery as you're skating. Skating is definitely one of those sports that has a roller coaster of emotions, and you often feel very alone. So it's really tough, right? And for those of you who've been following me for a really long time, I'm so open about all the different journeys I've been on in my skating career and now as a figure skating coach. When I first started skating, I was so naive and excited about skating. I started when I was about 6 and 7 years old, and I followed the footsteps of my sister. And it was just so much more fun back then, when things were more stress-free. You didn't have to stress about how people judged you. I'm pretty sure at my first competition, I competed against myself. And that was the best thing I could have done, because it allowed me to just learn how to perform and really enjoy performing. So that is the beauty of skating. Like, you get to perform for a crowd, you get to perform for judges, and judges oftentimes want you to do well. Actually, it may seem that judges are here to critique you rigorously, and you feel as though they're trying to take away your points. But I've talked to so many different judges, and judges have come to encourage my students, and they really actually want to reward you. And I love being able to perform in front of an audience. That's something that I always gravitated towards. But that changed when I got older. As a teenager, my confidence dropped. I got injured more often. And at the age of 14 years old, I broke my growth plate in my ankle. So I was doing double axels on the ground, and I went, and there was something that I heard that cracked. But when we went to the emergency, they did an x-ray and they didn't find anything. So they sent me home and they just said it was a really bad sprain. And I didn't find out until later that I broke the growth plate because it was so minute. And when it kept hurting and it was still hard for me to put weight on it, then I went back to get it on MRI. And then I figured out that I should have been in a cast this whole entire time. So it didn't really heal properly. And I was plagued with injury as I continued to move up the ranks in skating. And so that's why it's so important for me to emphasize off-ice training so much to my community. And that is why I started my CMA membership. I'm really, really thankful that so many of you have appreciated all of the YouTube videos that I've posted throughout my social media career. And a big majority of you found me on YouTube during COVID, where I posted my Skate with Michelle series and my Stretch with Michelle series. So now I am offering live off-ice lessons, and I want you guys to check out my CMA membership program. So I put it in the description below. You'll be able to check out my CMA membership website, and you can log in and have access to my Mental Blocks webinar that I hosted in November. A lot of you were really interested to overcome your frustration on the ice. For those of you who have suffered with mental blocks like popping your jumps, losing your axle that you work so hard to get, I know that feeling. It is so, so frustrating, and it's so discouraging, and you feel like you want to quit quite often in skating. So I provide a lot of mental tools that have helped not only myself as an adult figure skater now, and then of course my students who are at the higher level and they're working on their triple jumps and they're in high level competitions that make them feel, like it's challenging. They always feel like every single day they're battling something mentally, and it's not just physical. Skating is both a mentally and physically taxing sport. So yeah. So in my teenage years, that was a big struggle I had. I had my injuries, and then as I moved towards college, I dealt with body image issues, and I dealt with eating disordered thoughts, and I dealt with lack of self-confidence as I transitioned from being a competitive athlete to now a college student that was recruited to be part of the Cal figure skating team. And at that time, I just did not want to skate at all. Like, I wanted to take a break. It is very, very taxing on the mind when you've skated your whole entire life. I know a lot of people who have felt burnout, and they actually don't even want to look back at the sport again. And that is something that through my program, I don't want anybody to feel. I want you to feel like you're being supported throughout your journey, whether you go through injury, whether you feel unconfident in yourself, whether you've had coaches that weren't the most healthy, and you've had skaters or bullies at the rink that have made you feel less than. I've dealt with all of that, and that is the biggest reason as to why Coach Michelle Academy is such a near and dear community to my heart. And I've had to work so much on myself internally to be able to show up in this way for you guys. So I hope you guys continue to support one another. For those of you who are following Coach Michelle Academy on Instagram, I'm so grateful for that, because it's been 1 full year since I created that account, and we have 12,000 followers there. That is amazing. Like, I love that so much. It was cool because last year specifically, like I shared with you before, I was a lot more open about my personal life. I shared my wedding content on my Coach Michelle homepage. I posted my beauty, content, things that I love, my skincare, especially because I shared about my eczema healing journey. And so being able to be a little bit more free and share my personality more on my Coach Michelle homepage, and then dove specifically into my skating knowledge and expertise through my Coach Michelle Academy page. That was a really cool way to balance out all my passions. So I thank you guys so much for being so supportive. I'm going to read some of your comments right now. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Somebody said you're a goddess. You're so pretty. Hi from the UK. I love my international family. Somebody asked, can I ever get the two triples if I can do singles at 15? It is very possible, but it's also very challenging because people who start at such a young age may never be able to get a triple, and that's okay. Yes, it is possible. There's a lot of hard work that needs to be involved. I never want to deter people from achieving their dreams and their goals, but I also like to state the reality of what's in front of you when you start your skating journey. Many people don't realize that skating takes so much hard work on and off the ice. And the big part that is missing in a lot of skaters' lives is off ice training. So the CMA membership is something that is going to help out with that. I'm going to be providing off ice training lessons, off ice training support, mental support to those of you out there who don't have any off ice training resources, and maybe people who already have off ice training resources and they want more, or they want to work directly with me. I'm going to be hosting my very first live off ice lesson today. I'm going to be focusing on how to do the splits, and you can sign up right now. It's only $10 to join my CMA membership. So all CMA members will have access to 2 live lessons with me per month. And then you can review all of my recordings afterwards. So those of you who have been itching to work with me, now is your chance. I'm excited to share this opportunity. And I'm so glad that it's become so easy in a sense to connect with you guys. I love the fact that the internet is, here, and we're so connected in all different ways. So yeah. Somebody said, I can't pay. My parents would be mad. I wish I could, but they never agree. That's okay. There's a good thing you have YouTube, right? Yeah, thank you so much for the tutorials. The tutorials online are something that you can definitely gain so much progress from. So keep utilizing the YouTube tutorials. They have benefited so many skaters, and you can see it in the comment sections how many people have improved their spirals and their spins because of it. So I always encourage people to utilize the tools that they have. Don't be discouraged because your parents will not pay for something. Maybe you want this so badly, and one day you'll get a job and you'll be able to afford it yourself. So you don't have to rely on your parents. And that's something that was very important to me. I grew up knowing that we had limited resources in my family. My parents are Cambodian refugees, and they did whatever they could to provide me and my sisters the biggest opportunities that we could. But we know that we had limitations. I had 2 lessons per week, 2 30-minute lessons per week, and the rest was up to me. I had to train hard on my own, and I had, access to the library. The public library was what your guys' YouTube is. We went to the library, and I would check out these VHS cassettes, and I would check out DVDs of ballet videos, Pilates videos, yoga videos, and that's how I gained my off-ice training. And there was of course, opportunities for me to go to a gymnastics gym, and I got to do sport aerobics gymnastics, which is a different form of gymnastics without the flips and any of the apparatuses that you guys see in the Olympics. Sport aerobics gymnastics is very niche. So if you look it up, you'll notice that there's a lot of flexibility and strength involved. And that's a big part of what my program instills. And another thing is, I was 16 years old when I started coaching. And I wanted to start coaching because I love to work with kids. And I also got to skate for free at the ice because of it. So I really, really encourage you guys, like if you have a dream and you want to make this happen and you are interested in skating and maybe it's hard for your family or your parents to be supportive or behind you, there are ways to make your dreams come true. And in this generation, you guys are so smart. You can find tools and resources in the palm of your hand. And I'm sure you have the capabilities to, find opportunities at your local rink too. Maybe you can start working at the skate rental. Maybe you can start volunteering, and you can have the opportunity to have free public session because you're volunteering. There is so much abundance in this world as long as you open your mind to it. So that's what I would encourage you to do. What exercises are the best to get explosive power for doubles and triples? I know about jumping squats. So there's just a lot of plyometric skills that you could work on, and using a bench is really great too. So jumping on top of a bench, I've posted videos on that on my Instagram page and my TikTok. Being resourceful, again, is one of my favorite things to do. And also resistance bands. Resistance bands are excellent to build leg strength. You could wrap it around your quads, and you could do squats that way as well. And lunges. You could do back lunges, and then you could do switch jump lunges. So you'll go lunge, switch your feet, land back in a lunge, switch your feet, land back in a lunge. Those are a couple exercises that you can do. But yeah, overall, skating is a beautiful sport that requires power, flexibility, strength, personality, emotion. And, for those of you who are interested in competing one day, that is something to consider. If you've been in the sport for a while, maybe you want to start competing, and competitions are just another way for you to challenge yourself. I did a Christmas performance this past winter, and that was so much fun because I hadn't performed since I was in college. And going back to my college story, I literally felt so miserable, so depressed. I lost my identity. After you can compete your whole entire life and then you stop competing in the way that you used to, you feel so bad about yourself. For me personally, I know a lot of people deal with the same thing, but nowadays, since there's collegiate clubs and how popular and normalized the collegiate figure skating world has become, college students don't deal with this as much because they're already anticipating, like, oh yeah, after I stop skating in high school, I'm going to have an avenue in college that will be so helpful and so supportive. But at that time, collegiate figure skating wasn't as popular. I started at Cal in 2011. So for me, I had a really rough transition, and I struggled a lot with my identity after being a competitive athlete my whole entire life. And all of a sudden, I go to college and I'm not focusing on that anymore. The collegiate figure skating team was more of a club team. Um, it's run by students, right? And so having a student run organization, you have to be in charge of everything. You're in charge of planning the competitions. You're in charge of booking the plane tickets. You're in charge of getting people together to go to the rink. Your parents are not involved. Your coaches are not involved. It's you and your friends ultimately. And it was a big, amazing opportunity for me, and I'm so grateful that I met so many other collegiate students that were going through the same thing, because everybody also grew up skating and they committed their whole entire life to it, and having it experienced in a different way was a very unique circumstance. But yeah, at the end of the day, I did not like competing in college at all, but I did it for my team, and being able to do it for a community is um, so much more rewarding, to be honest. Even though I didn't want to compete for myself, being able to collect points for my school was really fun. And I struggled with, yeah, anxiety, depression. I sought out a sports psychologist for the first time in college, which was amazing. Okay, somebody says, I'm struggling with depression and watching you kind of helps me. You're a person that brings me hope and a spark. I appreciate that so much. That's something that is very important to me. I never, ever want to come across as perfect, that I have my life fully together, that I have no problems. I'm actually so open to talk about things that I've been through now that I've moved through them. In the past, I couldn't speak about my anxiety or my depression without crying. But I've been through a lot of healing. I've been through many experiences of recognizing that I grew up with such limiting beliefs. Some limiting beliefs that I am battling to push against and battling to change in the sport is, you're too old to start skating. You're too big, or you're not the right body size to skate or compete. I really despise that type of communication, and that narrative needs to stop, but it still continues, and you can see it with people's facial expressions or the whispers behind your back, because that's exactly what happened to me when I was in college. I went through a huge body shift where I gained over 30 pounds within 3 months. And I literally was so devastated to look at myself in the mirror, because I did look different, right? Like, if your physical appearance changes, your brain is going to be confused regardless if you try your best to stay positive or not. You are going to feel something. And I went through puberty late because I trained so hard that my puberty was stunted in a sense. And I didn't have my period probably until I was like 17 or 18, and it was really irregular then. So now that I was in college, that's when everything came all at once, and it was so hard for me to manage both mentally and physically. And it was very challenging growing up in a Cambodian family as well. So, Cambodian families are ruthless when it comes to the way that they communicate about body image. I'm sure many people can relate to that as well, depending on what type of environment you grew up in. So I really encourage everyone out there to know that you have the capabilities to become the skater that you want to be. And of course, I encourage you to discover what happy, healthy, holistic means for you. And for me, what I'm doing this year specifically is encouraging myself to do more at-home meals. And it's been fun. I think for a long time I struggled with my relationship with food. And it wasn't until I met my husband, my now husband, and Colin really encouraged me to see myself in such a different light, to see myself beyond being a figure skater, to see myself as being beyond a coach. And I appreciated that so much. And he allowed me to feel free when we went out to eat, right? When I deny him. Colin was calling me right now. But yeah, he really encouraged me to love myself regardless of my body changes. He encouraged me to love myself regardless of what I ate. I was so critical about what I ate and how much I ate, especially in college. I was so embarrassed to eat in front of other people because I thought that they would judge me because I was judging myself. And so many skaters deal with this silently. And it's something that is a very, very tough subject to bring up. But when I talk about it with my students now, I really encourage them to fuel themselves with the most nutritious foods that they can, especially before they skate. I never want to restrict them. I just encourage them that protein is excellent before you practice. Protein is excellent for after you practice. Having well-balanced meals that include proteins, veggies, and carbs is wonderful. And your desserts are welcome, but just think about when you eat them, right? You don't want to have ice cream at 5 a.m. before you go skate because that's not going to make you as strong and equipped. So just being very mindful about the language that I use is so, so important. But yeah, I want to continue doing more of this type of conversation on YouTube Live. It's so fun for me to connect with you guys. I thank you, Sarav. You said, "You're very strong. Thanks for this speech." Of course, I want to utilize my voice in this manner and in this way because I know that so many young people look up to me, and it's very important. I don't take it lightly. And if I can send a message to all of you that you are also strong and you are also resilient and you also have the capabilities to achieve your dreams, then that is so, so rewarding for me as your online coach, as your friend, as someone who has been through many, many things and many similar things that you have probably been through as well. I want you to know that I'm here for you, and I want to continue being a source of support for you guys. So be sure to check out my Coach Michelle Academy membership. The link is down below in the description. And I'm so excited to see you guys in my next YouTube Live. Bye.